If midway through this video I'm suddenly wearing glasses, we're not going to ask questions because this contact is driving me insane. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing my April TBR. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is one book you are really looking forward to on your April TBR. Alrighty, so we are into the third round of testing out TBRs. This time I am doing Sam from Griff Reads I Am a Booktuber, Get Me Out of Here board game. I'll put Sam's video where she explains her TBR game over here on the cards, as well as in the description down below if you are intrigued, but she has a TBR board game which is based on the TV show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I think that's what it's called. And on the board there are different spots for the 3 most read genres for her, as well as other, and then I think it's challenges. She was kind enough to do the rolls for me, so let's check out and see how I did.
Hey Nat, so thanks again for asking me to play my TBR game for you this month to pick your April TBR. So we're going to roll as many times as it takes to get from one corner all the way around and back out the same corner. And yeah, hopefully the rolls will be in your favour. I've been playing this TBR game for a few months now, and so far I haven't had a bad game, so hopefully you have the same look. But we're going to start with roll number 1, which is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's fantasy.
Alright, so we did pretty good with the first roll and we landed on fantasy. So my pick is going to be Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This is one of the oldest books on my TBR. I've been meaning to pick it up for quite a while now. Of course, it's the start of a series, a fairly long series at that. But I believe this series came about because Ransom Riggs combined a bunch of old-time photos and basically made them into a story, which isn't that super awesome. I believe this follows a teenage boy who for some reason gets sent to like this island out in the middle of nowhere, and he ends up coming across the House of Peculiar Children and gets wrapped up into like a mystery or adventure, something along those lines. I've been meaning to pick this up for quite some time, so finally making an excuse to do it. Let's see what the next roll is.
Okay, so here we go with roll number 2, which is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is another fantasy.
Okay, so another fantasy. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with, I think it's called Never Look Back by Lilian Rivera. This is a Greek retelling, I believe, of Eurydice and Orpheus, but it is set in Puerto Rico, I'm pretty sure. I think they're also teenagers, but I've been really wanting to pick this up for quite a while now. This is one of the few Greek retellings I have found that actually has a POC twist on it, and I thought that was very clever. I don't think I've actually read anything in terms of the Orpheus Eurydice myth. I'm probably gonna have to grab the audiobook from my library for this though. Unfortunately, I'm having a hard time finding it anywhere. On to the next roll.
And then this is roll number 3, which is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is other, so any genre outside of fantasy, romance, or thriller.
Okay, so for other, I decided to use this as my comic book pick for the month, so I'm going to be going with Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, Impossible Year. This is volume 2 by Seanan McGuire and Takashi Miyazawa, who is the artist. This is continuing on where the first one left off. Basically, the first one ended with the Spider-Geddon story arc, so hopefully that means we'll be starting into a new story arc this time around. I'm very excited to continue reading. I really enjoyed Seanan McGuire's characterization of Gwen the first time, so I'm hoping that we will get some more of her sassy, moxie attitude in this one. Okay, next roll.
Okay, so this might be the final roll, and it's not, it's a 1, so we have another fantasy.
Okay, of course, another fantasy. So for this one, I am gonna have to pick a big book for the month, and since majority of my big books, which are fantasy, are also starts in series, I decided to go with the one standalone, which is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is also on my 10 books that I want to read this year. Hopefully this will happen this month. It is my big book. It is coming in at $4.94, so not too bad. I believe this is many stories combined together, and then we're also following the main plot of a boy who finds a book in which there are all of these stories, but then eventually his own life is within the book as well, and that's honestly all I really know. I loved Erin Morgenstern's first book, The Night Circus, right there, and I've been really wanting to pick this up to see how I like it. Her writing is absolutely beautiful, so I'm sure this is going to be incredibly atmospheric, whimsical, just bring the entire world to life. Definitely know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but hopefully it will be mine. Fingers crossed. Okay, hopefully this will be the last roll.
And then I can't remember what role this is, but the next role is role number 2, which is one to a thriller. So we have got a different genre.
Okay, so it's not the last roll, but at least it's not fantasy again. So for a thriller, I think I'm going to be going with The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I picked this up last month for Book of the Month, and I've been really wanting to get to it ever since I saw it. I have loved the 2 thrillers I've read by St. James already. Those were The Broken Girls as well as The Sundown Motel, so I've been very excited to see some more of her stuff. She does a wonderful job of combining 2 timelines within her stories and then always having some kind of a paranormal element in them. I'm really hoping this will also have both of those. I've heard good things about this from people who have read it already. I'm very excited for it. Hopefully I will enjoy it too. Hopefully this is the last roll. Please be the last roll.
And I think this might end up being the final roll. It's not. So that's a 1, which is a challenge. And the challenge, if I can get the card, is a new release published in the last 2 years.
Of course it wasn't the last. Okay, but we got something else different. We got a challenge card, so a book that has been released in the last 2 years. The one other mini goal I have for myself every month is a nonfiction book, so I looked through a bunch of the nonfiction books I recently bought. I also tried to find the shortest one, and that one worked out to be 𝗖cie by Angela Chen. This is only around 200 pages, so that works out very well for me. I've heard amazing things about this. It is a nonfiction book in which the author is diving into the specifics of asexuality, which is a orientation that does not get a lot of attention, and so she is trying to make it more accessible and understandable for the average individual. I've heard amazing things about this from many people who have read it, both asexual and not. I'm really excited to pick this up. I am guessing I will probably be tabbing it up. Thankfully, I recently got some new tabs, so hopefully I can make them match with this gorgeous cover. I'm very excited for this, and like I said, it'll work for my nonfiction book this month. Okay, there's literally one more spot, so as long as we don't roll another one, we should manage through, right?
So this should now be the final roll, and it is a 2. So 1, 2.
I was really sweating that we were gonna roll another one, guys. Okay, so that is it for my official TBR thanks to the game. That's upside down. There we go. Of course, me being me, that is not the end of my TBR. So on top of that, I have a few book clubs that I'm going to be partaking in this month. First up, for the 20-something book club, I'm really hoping to get to Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Heron Blake. This is I don't know if it's enemies to lovers or childhood friends to lovers, sapphic romance, but I've heard literally nothing but amazing things. I saw today that Amanda at Ginger Snapped Reads gave this 5 stars, and I'm really wanting to get to it. I've heard this is a sweet, sappy romance that also has lots of steam between these 2 women who I think they knew each other when they were younger, and Delilah, our main character, moved away from home. She does not want to return there, but she'll do it to take photos for her sister. It's either her stepsister or her sister-in-law's wedding, something along those lines, and she ends up running into one of her, I think it's her stepsister's friends from when they were younger, and the 2 end up hitting it off. Very excited for this. Like I said, I've heard so many good things, so I'm really hoping I can get to this one this month as well. On top of that, for the personal book club I do with my friends, I am hoping to get to The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is a mystery in which a woman's husband disappears, and the only thing he left behind was a note saying to take care of his daughter, who is her stepdaughter, and the 2 of them end up bonding as they try and figure out what happened to him. I've also heard amazing things about this. I think this was actually the top book on Goodreads mysteries last year. That bodes well, hopefully. Might actually get to this before April. When I am filming this, I still have another week left in March, and honestly, if I finish the book I'm currently reading, I'm probably going to pick this up next, so this might get read before April, but if it doesn't, on my April TBR. finally, I have 2 more books I'm really hoping to get to this month. So one is a advanced reader copy, and that is Queerly Beloved by 𝗖cieห์ This is a sapphic romance between a woman who is slightly out of the closet, but she works at a Christian bakery in Oklahoma. I also think this is set in like roughly 2010, so gay marriage is not yet legalized. Between our main character, who is a baker, and then a woman who is out and proud that she meets at a wedding she is working. Don't know anything else about this, but I saw the cover. It looked so adorable, so I had to add it to my request list, and I was lucky enough to be approved. Thank you to NetGalley, Susan Drummond, and the publisher for that. I really hope I will love this. Hopefully you guys might have a ARC reading vlog coming up for it. Fingers crossed. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then finally, I'm also really hoping to get to Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This is another thriller that I have on my shelves that I've been needing to get to for quite some time. I think I put this on my November TBR and it never happened. So this book is set in the 1990s, and we are following a girl who is at college, but her best friend was recently killed by a serial killer that has been tormenting the college campus. So she ends up picking up a form on a bulletin board for a ride share to try and head back home, but midway through the ride she ends up thinking that the man in the car with her is the campus killer. Things go from there. I have heard many mixed things, but I own this, so I'm really determined to read it. This is another author whose work I've really enjoyed in the past. Now that a lot of people have hated it, I think maybe it's lowered my expectations, so hopefully it can just surprise me. Hopefully we have nowhere to go but up. And then finally, the last book I have, which I don't know if I'll get to this, if I'm being completely honest. I checked it out from the library, but like the more I look at this stack of books, the more I think this might not happen. But that is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Fredrik Backman. This is following a young girl who is best friends with her grandmother, but she has recently passed away, and so the girl has all of these letters that the grandmother has left for her in mysterious hiding places. She has to find the letters and then deliver them to the people that her grandmother wanted to apologize to. I've heard this is deep, I've heard it's sweet. I've only ever heard fantastic things about Fredrik Backman's writing, so I'm hopeful to get to this, but like I said, this is pretty low on priority list, and my TBR is already quite big for the month, so don't hold your breath on this one. Okay, yeah. So this is quite a stack of books. Do we think this is gonna happen? I have no idea. Can I balance this right here? Oh god. I can. Look at that. That worked out well. Please wish me luck. I don't know if that's all gonna happen this month. Okay guys, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials linked in the description if you're interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!